In today's video, we are going over 14 tips you didn't know about Valheim. We have divided the tips into 4 sections. Let's start off with 2 great tips for presentation. So first of all, screenshots. If you want to take nice screenshots in Valheim, or you want to record some footage, press Control F3 to hide your UI. With F12 you can take screenshots on Steam, or you can press print screen to copy a screenshot to your clipboard on PC, and then press Control V to paste it in Discord or Photoshop. The second tip is for making amazing shots with the free fly camera. So let's do this. We start by pressing F5 and we enter the console. Type in "I'm a cheater" and press enter. Cheats will now be active. To turn this off, type it in again. After this, you can enter free fly into the console and press enter. And now the free fly camera will be active, as you see here. So there is my character, but I can move the camera around as I want. So I can look at my build, I can look at the standing stones, I can basically go wherever I want. So the controls for this are WASD to move, control to go down, space to go up. With the left mouse button click, we can lock a pivot point, as we do here, so you can make really nice rotating screenshot. Let's do it from here as well. There you go. So as you can see, the pivot point is somewhere in the middle here, and we will just turn around this. And then what you can also do is press right click while you're moving, and it will keep on moving in the direction you're moving. So I now press S and I go backwards, then I right click and the camera will keep on moving without me touching the mouse or the keyboard. For more precision, I do recommend an Xbox controller or something like that. Triggers for those are up and down with the triggers, then right thumb is to lock the pivot point, the other one is for the constant movement in one direction. You can also type /help in the, or just help in the console command, and you can see all the other commands if you need to look them up. So additionally, if you think this is pretty cool but you want something a bit more smooth, you can press F5 again and we can put in FF smooth. There we go, and it's now on FF smooth 0. Not much has changed, a little bit. And now let's put this up. So we put FF smooth 1, and now we go back. And if we go back to it, so this command smooths out all your shots, and it's great for flying a camera through your base, as you can see here. The render distance is based on your character's current location, so let's go up. The further away you get, the more popping and loss of detail you will see. So position your character in the center of your shot. Another command is LOD bias, 0 to 5. 0 sets the draw distance down, so let's put that into the console. There we go. So now the draw distance is very far down, and this is really good for hiding things you don't want in the background. So there we go. So this is really a few meters from my character. And then if we do LOD bias 5, it's set to max draw distance. You may get better long distance visuals, and I don't think the game is actually set to max render distance. As you can see here, before, most of the stuff in the background would already render out, but that is not the case at the moment. So yeah, this is a way for you to set your draw distance way higher. Okay, then we get to some quality of life tips, map markers and pinging. If we open the map with M, we see our currently explored area and the fog of war. On the bottom right hand side, you will see a couple of different symbols. By clicking on, for example, the house icon and left clicking on the map, so here's our base, so we'll double left click here and we can call this home. Type it in, press enter, and now we've got a marker here. This is how you create your own map in Valheim. Personally, I like to use the home icon for our bases, fireplace for outposts, circles for ore veins, these icons for dungeons, and it's especially useful if you're walking through the world and you want to come back for something later. You have it now marked on the map. So, and it's also a nice progression to see where you have been and where you've not been, even though of course the fog of war will uncover, so you know that you've been there. But it's nice that you can see where you have explored. And the dungeon icon is for a skeleton dungeon, troll caves, crypts, all that kind of stuff. And once you have mined an ore vein out completely, or plundered a dungeon, found a beehive that you left behind, you can cross it off. So let's zoom in a little bit on the map. So let's say we explored this dungeon. If we left click on the dungeon, it will cross it off. So we know we have been there. And let's say we did the copper as well. So now we cross off the copper. We have been there. Good. So from our home to the outpost, now we know both of these are done. But on a side note, dungeons do respawn yellow mushrooms, so crossing it off means you collected all the circling cores inside and valuables, but you can still go back to get the mushrooms every now and then. If you delete everything by right-clicking, it looks like you haven't been here. If you play on a server, you can ping so your friends can see what location you are talking about. This is done by clicking the middle mouse button on a location on the map. There we go. This ping shows up for everyone in the 3D world as well. There you see it. And not only if I ping there, but also if I ping way further away, like there. This comes in handy when you're trying to navigate to a location. So let's say I'm walking around here and I want to go to my outpost. Now I know I have to go there without looking at the map constantly. The ping will disappear after a little bit, but you can just re-ping it. In the bottom right, you can also toggle your location right here so that everyone can see you on the map. With the recent update, this will now be saved once you log off, so you don't have to toggle it every time you log on. Okay, tip number 4, some inventory management tricks. Shift click will split stacks, and you can decide how many you want to split. Default is half the stack. You press OK, there we go. With control click, you can transfer items from one space to the other. And also throwing items, if you're throwing an item to a friend, the item is thrown in the direction you are facing. Okay, then number 5, the optimal diet. So maximize your HP and stamina with a combination of the best food items in the game. I've been testing this and made a little graph to show you guys what the results are. So every food has a different amount of health and stamina. It gives you an amount of seconds indicating how long the food will last you till you have to eat it again, and the amount of HP per tick it gives you. And what we can see here in the graph, it's based on the duration. So honey is, for example, at only 300 seconds, but it heals you at 5 HP per tick. Then we get raspberries on all the basic items. We get the carrots. Cloudberries are another, they're very late game food source, but they last a bit longer, but are not that good. But they're used for many other recipes. And then we get to the juicy stuff. So as you can see here, cooked fish, carrot soup, sausages, bread, serpent meat, serpent stew. And then suddenly we get into the 4 HP per tick, 3 HP per tick, and really good health and stamina. So for maximum stamina, you want to eat serpent stew, bread, and carrot soup, and you get around 210-ish. So for max health, you want blood pudding, serpent stew, and cooked serpent meat, or cooked lox meat, and it gives you around 240 extra health. And then for max healing per tick, you will take blood pudding, serpent stew, and honey, and you should get around 13 HP per tick. So let's test out the health and the stamina. You guys can test out for yourself. So let's try these items. We have 25 health right now and almost no stamina. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we have 10 bars of stamina almost, and these aren't even the best stamina items in the game. But look at our health bar, and there we go. We're at 259 health right now. That is amazing. Of course, you know, it will go down until we need to eat again, but this is absolutely amazing, and it's a lot of health. Now we get into some tips for building, and we start with the height limit. So there's a height limit in Valheim when it comes to building, at least for the earlier materials. Wood pillars, as you can see here, have a max height of 16. And if we grab our hammer, we can see that the base is blue. Then it goes to green, green, yellow, orange, red, and dark red. And anything placed above here will break off, as you can see here. There we go. So you can't build any higher than 16. The same for stone pillars. So the same height of 16. Then we get core wood, which you can find in the Black Forest, which has a height limit of 20. There we go. So anything above this will break. I'm guessing 22. And then we also have the iron pillars, which will just go on 23, 24, 25. So 50 meters you can build up with iron poles. You can also build off of trees. So as you can see, I mean, it looks a bit weird, but we can actually build off of the tree. Even though it's moving quite a lot now, because it's pretty windy. But you can build up really high, and as you can see, these are blue, indicating that they are supported. So let's put some supports here, and then we can put some more supports like up here, and also they will be blue, so you can build really high structures by building around a tree or these giant rocks in the plains biome. And I found this amazing build on Reddit. Look at this. Yeah, so you can go really high, and they have a pine tree inside the mage tower. So tip number 7, decaying builds. Buildings, crafting stations, carts, etc. will decay if not under a thatched roof and get rained on, or if enemies damage your buildings. As you can see here, this has been out in the rain. However, you can repair it by using the hammer. So select your hammer, right click, and on the top left of every tab there is a repair function. We click this, repair, and now if we left click, we can just repair everything from here. Okay, tip number 8, before resting. Before you go to sleep at night, it's a good idea to load up your smelters and kilns, because when you sleep, time will progress. And as you saw right there, we just filled everything up. So let's get to sleep. And in the background, you hear the ingots being smelted. And that is amazing. So now when we wake up and we go outside, we will have a bunch of ingots and coal laying around, just waiting for us to pick up. Tip number 9 is all about defenses. When you first start the game, you haven't got much to worry about, but after defeating some bosses, you will get randomly attacked by hordes of enemies. A good idea is to start building some defenses early on to protect your base that you have been painstakingly building since the beginning of the game. The most basic method is building a stake wall with some gates surrounding your build. Here you can also place some stakes in front and a nice walkway on the back of the wall where you can stand and shoot arrows from. A second upgrade to this are guard towers. You can get higher up and have a nice downward angle and are harder to reach for trolls and archers. The third upgrade is digging out a trench or a moat surrounding your build. In both cases, start digging out some terrain and make it 5 or 6 pickaxes deep. Enemies will fall in, and with no way out, they are easy prey. And now we get to some tips to help you with exploration. So tip number 10 is knowing your weapons. So there is an actual purpose for using various weapons because of the damage types on enemies. There are 3 main types of damage, which are blunt, pierce, and slash damage. And if we look at our sword here, we see swords do slash damage. And if we look at the stack breaker, it does blunt and pierce damage. And here we have a knife, and you can see that it does slash and pierce damage. So if this weapon will do slash, and we have our power attack, which also does slash. Then with the knife, we'll do slash damage as well, but it has a leap ability if you use your secondary attack button, which is middle mouse. So you'll do slash damage with a knife, and then you can also do pierce damage. Whereas the stack breaker is an amazing weapon because it does AoE damage and blunt damage. The Stag Breaker, for example, is great when you're fighting a group of enemies. As you can see here, and they both die, and their bodies are over there. But for example, trolls will take more damage from pierce damage, and skeletons from blunt damage, and so forth. So it is actually good to have a variety of weapons on you and to know which enemies you are fighting. And as you can see here in this picture here, for example, the troll versus blunt damage, it's resistant and the damage numbers show up in gray. Normal damage, so it doesn't have any resistances, you just do normal damage. For example, slash damage against troll shows up in white, and any damage like pierce versus a troll will show up in yellow, meaning the troll has a weakness to pierce damage. So you can tell by the color of the damage you are doing. Oh, and if you press R while walking around with your weapon, you can put it on your back and you can run again, and just press R to get it out again, and there we go. So you sheath your weapon. Okay, tip number 11, portals. So how does it work? With your hammer out, go to miscellaneous, select the portal, and you can build one right here. It says portal tag, nothing, unconnected, E to set tag. So let's name this one a home. Press enter, and now the portal is connected. And I have built another portal, so let's get through here. So this second portal, I can actually show you guys, we can break it. Let's say we are out in the world exploring, we have a bunch of stuff on us, and we need to get home. So have all the materials on you for a portal, which is like 20 fine wood, 10 dwarf eyes, and 2 circling cores. Let's get rid of you. And let's say you were carrying a cart with some copper ore. Copper ore and other metals will not go through a portal indicated by this symbol. So we can put a chest down, build our portal, call it home, and now wherever we are, we can make a portal home, as long as the portal that is standing in the house is not connected to anything else. And here we are, back home. So now we can do our thing, repair our gear, put stuff into containers, and then we can go back and continue on our journey. Something else you can do is build a little hub where, if you're playing on a server with friends, for example. So let's say this portal is connected to the swamp, this is connected to the docks, and this is connected to your mine. And it's me and Johnny is on the server, for example. So I can have this one, Zell, and he has Johnny. So now, again, wherever I am in the world, I can go here. Okay, I place one down, I call it Zell. And now this means that I can go through this portal and always have a personal portal for me to come back to. So this is like your own Hearthstone or Town Portal scroll. So you can have a portal from here, and then you're in the hub and you can continue on. The only thing, of course, you need to do is destroy that portal that we just placed at some point, so you can make a new one and return home again. So you can have multiple unconnected portals to your various town hubs and just waiting to be linked. Now you have a choice on which town you want to return to. So now we went back, we pick up our portal again, and now the portal Zell in the base is unconnected again. So we can go on exploring, you know, do whatever we were doing, and we can get back here. There we go. So the difference with this one and the home portal, of course, is if someone in the world is using the home portal already, you cannot connect to the home portal because portals only have one connection. So this would mean that you need to ask your buddy on the server, or if you're in Discord, it's like, okay, can you please destroy the other portal? And with personal portals, you know that you are the only one using that one. So we can set this to Zell again, and we can go back home. So this is a great way of using portals like a Hearthstone from WoW or a Town Portal scroll. Okay, the next tip number 12, forward outposts. Much of your time will be spent mining in the Black Forest. So rather than logging carts of ore back to your main base, create a smelting town as we did, as you can see right here, and instead cart or boat the ingots back home. It's way more efficient. So instead of you dragging back, or just create a couple of smelters, couple of kilns, and just smelt everything into ingots already. Some copper, some tin, some bronze maybe. Cart it if you're pretty close to your base, or build some boats with a hammer in miscellaneous. If you're in the Black Forest, you probably have this boat, the Carve. So put that one down in the water and make a nice little port, and you can ship all your ingots back to base. The raw ore is already smelted down, especially if you're making bronze, because you need 1 tin and 2 copper to make 1 bronze. Bringing back bronze to your base, 1 ingot instead of 2 copper and 1 tin is way more efficient. And if you're going by sea, avoid ocean or deep water when you're carrying valuable cargo. You can get attacked out in the ocean, and if you're alone, it can be really rough. And if the ship gets destroyed, you can lose all your items. So if you're carrying a lot of ore with you, please be careful and stay close to the shore. Okay, tip number 13, we're gonna get into some alchemy, and this is a tip for a bit more advanced players. This is around the time you get to the 3rd biome, which is the swamp. If you're out there, collect every plant, herb, necktail, whatever you can find. You will thank yourself later. So various potions are going to be needed for progression, and the potions are made in a fermenter. But before that, we need to make mead bases. They are made in a cauldron, as you can see here from the crafting menu. You take 10 tin and a forge to build it. In the cauldron here, you can see mead bases and all the ingredients they require. So make a little station for yourself where you can put in all these ingredients and build some fermenters nearby to ferment the mead bases. And as you can see here, we have the basic one is tasty mead, costs honey, raspberries, blueberries, and it will give you less health regen, but it gives you a lot of stamina regen. We get to minor stamina mead, which gives you insane stamina regeneration for honey, raspberries, and yellow mushrooms. Then we get a health potion. You get health over time for honey, raspberry, and yellow mushroom. Then the other medium stamina mead base is another stamina regeneration for honey, cloudberries, and yellow mushrooms. Then we get medium healing, 75 healing over time for honey, bloodbag, raspberry, and a dandelion. Poison resist, which you're going to use in the swamp a lot. Honey, thistle, that is found in the Black Forest. Necktails are easy to get, and coal. You get frost resistance meat. So it's honey, thistle, bloodbag, and Grey Dwarf. And the bloodbags you get from leeches in the swamp. And then we also have a fire resist potion with barley and cloudberries. So just make them here in the cauldron. You craft the recipe. So once you have crafted the mead base, take it in your inventory and you put it in the fermenter. There we go. It now says mead base tasty fermenting, and it will take 2 in-game days to ferment. Once it's done, you press E to tap. And there we go. We got our minor healing meat. We had 2 on us, so you get 6 from every batch. Doesn't matter which one it is, you will get 6. And of course the poison resist is very good in the swamp. The frost resist is great in the mountain biome. And the fire resist, you get this in the plains biome, and you're gonna need it. You're gonna get attacked a lot. Then of course this is just healing and stamina, which are always useful. And this one, I mean, isn't that great, the tasty meat, but you know, it's fun if you're on the server and you're hanging out with your friends and you want to have something to drink. And a lot of potions, as you saw, require honey. So collect queen bees from beehives, and this way you can make your own beehives. Just get a pole, and let's say we have a queen bee. We select the beehive here in crafting, and we just put it up there. There we go. And now Now we have a beehive. This one is empty right now. The bees are happy. There's a queen bee inside there. But this one has been standing for a long time, and the beehives will get 4 honey in them. At which point it stops making honey and you have to harvest it. There we go. So this is a great way of getting honey, and if you're exploring out in the world, you will hear bees. It's the same sound as you hear here. So make sure you always shoot the beehive, get the queen bee, and then you can make some more beehives for your own base and get that sweet honey. Tip number 14 is all about vendors, how to spot them. So if we open the map, you can see here we just discovered this little bag icon on the map, and that means there is a trader nearby. Looks like this. There's a rune. Here there is this Holstein. Look at this thing. I've seen it in the screenshots. Well, hello there. So let's talk to Haldor. And he buys stuff with the coins you find in dungeons, on trolls. This is where you're going to turn in all these items. So what does he sell? As you can see here, he sells a Christmas hat, which we can now equip. There we go. Emir flesh. New material. The earthy remains of the giant Emir. I have no idea what to do with this. I think it's for crafting a weapon. We can buy fishing bait, which we will need to fish. So we can buy the fishing rod as well. This is the fishing rod. Let's use it. There we go. Look at that thing. So we can now finally fish, which is really cool. And we can get Megging Yard. Gives the wearer superhuman strength. So it increases my carry capacity by 150. So we went from 300 to 450. That's way better. We can carry way more stuff. And we can buy the Dwarger Circlet. And what this does is that if you put it on, you will have a light, almost like a torch, on your head at all times. So this is great for going into the swamp, because you're gonna need it in that place. You cannot have the wishbone or the carry capacity on at the same time, so keep that in mind. And of course your helmet will be taken off if you equip the circlet. If you have rubies, amber or amber pearl, you can sell them right here and you get coin for it, which then allows you to buy more stuff. So always pick those up when you find them in dungeons, etc. So this was the trader. It might not be the easiest to find, but at least, you know, it will show up on the map and it will stay there. So good luck finding a trader, and make sure you bring some coin back when you go back to him after you found him, and buy all this good stuff. So these were 14 tips and tricks to help you out in Valheim. I hope you picked something up that you didn't know yet. I hope you enjoyed the video. Before we end it off, come join us on Twitch, where we stream Valheim with a fun split screen setup. We give away prizes and we're just having a good time. Links are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Alexor and we will see you in the next Valheim video. Bye now.